The whole process of making a well snatched waist for an outfit does not necessarily mean so much boning and structuring and all that. Sometimes you may need it very simple and very comfortable and yet very snatched. So if that is what you're looking for, then this tutorial is for you. In the last tutorial, I explained how this beautiful princess that bustier gown was drafted, and in this very one I'll be putting you through the whole process of making it, including the sleeve and of course everything I did to achieve the beautiful gown that we drafted in the last tutorial, from the snatching of the waist, how I applied the boning, to the sleeve, to the garment, everything concerning this. Hi creatives, Dimma here, and you're welcome to another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial I'll be sharing with you how I sew or how I put together this beautiful gown that you can see on the screen. In the last I shared the pattern making process. So here is the skirt part of the dress and I have applied hairstay to it. The interfacing I used is hairstay and I'll keep that aside. So here is the lining part of the bodice and I have also applied pepper stay to it. So this is what I have. This is the chantilly and the nude mesh. This is the side. So this is the fabric part of the dress. This is the fabric part that I cut with chinox. And I've gone ahead to apply hairstay in all of it and wadding where necessary. Now this is the lining. I applied pepper stay. This is the lining as well and I have applied pepper stay. The middle is chinox because the lining was not enough, so I used chinox to cut the center front as well. That is the center front lining. And here we've got the skirt part lining, the skirt part of the lining, and I applied pepper stay in a way that it stretches as well. It did not alter with the stretch of the lining because this lining stretches a bit. Even the damask fabric stretches a little bit, not so much, okay? Even the chinox fabric stretches a bit. So here I have the chinox and that is what I used to cut the lacing part, the corset lacing part. This will be at the back that will carry the eyelet rings and all. So I also applied pepper stay and in 3 layers. Yes, I applied 3 times, 3 layers of the pepper stay. So here is the center front carrying the chantilly and as well the nude mesh. This is how I'll be placing it and I'll stitch the neckline. This is also the center front. I'll call it the corset part and I will also stitch the neckline. I've stitched the neckline of this one. I will go ahead and stitch the neckline of this one. Here I've stitched it and I'm going ahead to notch. Please, when you get to the middle, that is the sweetheart neck, ensure you cut to but not through it, okay, so that everything will relax properly. Here I'm trimming off every excess that may be there, but I'm leaving out about 1/4 inch allowance. I always like to use 1/2 inch to cut. If need be, I will trim off any excess. I feel more comfortable making it that way. Here I'm going to top stitch on the lining, okay, pushing the seam allowance towards the lining and then top stitching. Then I've ironed. You can see how smooth and well the neckline is laying. Ensure you take this sewing technique so that you will get a perfect stitch and a relaxed seam like this as well. Now this is how I'm going to place this, the chantilly part on this part as well, and I will join them together. Please, on just the fabric, not the lining. I'm joining this together with the fabric part and not the lining part. Now here I have joined it together to only the fabric and not the lining, and I will just go ahead and join the side of this pattern. Watch closely to see what I'm doing. This is the lining and this is the chinox fabric that will make up the front pattern for the fabric. So here I have my nude mesh. And I'll be placing the nude mesh like this on the side panel. That is the side front. I'll place the nude mesh and then place the chantilly on it to get the same effect that we have at the center front. I hope you understand. So now I'm going to join all this together like so. I've bonded it together. I'll then place it like this and stitch, observing the notches. Okay, here I have the under bust notch and the bust point notch. I'm trimming every excess chantilly that may be on it. Please ensure to take all the steps that I am taking to get the perfect stitch that you need. I'm just making the under bust notch and the bust point notch visible on the center front as well. So right here I'm going to join the side to the center front for both the lining and the fabric. Here I've joined them together and this is what I have. I'll go ahead and open the stitch and iron it properly with my bust ham. Here is the back and I've stitched the darts. I will also go ahead and place the nude mesh on it and then the chantilly on it. I hope you understand. This is to give us the same effect that we have for the front. I'll place the nude mesh and then the chantilly. So that is what I did for this part. And here's the yoke of the back. I will also be joining the nude mesh and the chantilly together, and of course I will put the button loops where appropriate. So here is the lining of the back. I've also stitched the darts for it. This is the front, which I've gone ahead to iron. Everything is laying well. And here is the back. I've gone ahead to join everything together like this. And then this is the yoke, which I will place appropriately, not to get to the zipper notch, because that is where it is supposed to end. And this is the lining which I am going to use and turn this after stitching on the yoke. Now I've stitched on the yoke, ensuring that it didn't get to the zipper allowance. I will go ahead and make the zipper notch visible with that chalk. Then I will place the lining like this and stitch. Now this is what I have for the back side. This is what I have. I've put the button loops and all. So I'll go ahead and start working on the panel. That is where we'll be using to lace up the dress. I'll go ahead and make holes there and put the eyelet rings. If you want to know how these eyelets are made, I'll link it up in the description, because I have a full video on how to make eyelet rings. Everything you need to know. You can see how they are matching, and what I used to do this is my awl. I just used it to puncture the hole like this while holding these two fixed. I hope you understand. You can even pin it together and make those marks using your awl to ensure that everything is perfect, matching perfectly. So here is the skirt part, the back damask part of the skirt, and I'm going to stitch the dart on it. I'll do this for the back and also stitch that for the front. Now this is the lining. I will also stitch the dart for it. Here is the front. Before I stitch the dart, I'm going to mark the middle part of the skirt. So I'll notch the middle part and place it like so, then bring the bodice. I'll get the bodice and also make the middle part very visible with a notch. Then I will match these two middle notches together like this. When I match it, I will now be able to mark exactly where the dart is. Now this is the best way to mark your dart point, so that you don't get a dart on the skirt and on the blouse looking different. I hope you understand. So I've also notched this point. From this point, I will take my dart. You see how I placed it? Watch closely. Aside what I'm saying, watch what I am doing. You can see how I folded that dart, and I'll be stitching from that notch down for my dart. Okay, now I will use this to mark the dart point as well for the lining, for the front lining. And this is what I have. I will also go ahead and notch. Now I'm going to take my dart from there and stitch it down 1 inch dart, or any size that your dart is, 1 inch, 1/4 or 1.5, it depends. So right here, this is what I have. I've stitched the dart for the front and also stitched for the back. This is also the lining. I've gone ahead to stitch the dart. I've also stitched the dart for the front lining. So now the next thing to do is go ahead to join these together. I'll be joining fabric to fabric and lining to lining, meaning the lining will be on its own while the fabric will be on its own. I'll join these two together. You can see that I removed the lining part for the bodice because I will be joining it differently to the lining. So this is what I will do right now. I will also do the same for the back. I'll join it lining to lining and fabric to fabric. Ensure to follow your notches so that you don't make the mistake of placing the center back skirt by the side. I hope you understand. So after joining everything together, this is what I have. This is what I have. Very lovely and gorgeous joining, neat. Now I'll be placing the boning on this. I'll be placing my boning on this, and I'm using Ridgeline bone. I'll just place it right in front there, and yeah, just watch through to see what I'm doing. Here's my Ridgeline bone, and I'll just measure the length of where I want it from under bust to where I want it to end. Please ensure that this does not get to the tummy, like about 4 inches from the waistline down, ending 4 inches or at most 4.5 inches from waistline down is just perfect. Then you get the upper part to the under bust. Now I'm just taping the tip of the Ridgeline with my masking tape so that it doesn't poke out through the lining and touch the skin. Okay, so I'll be stitching it on both sides of the Ridgeline. I will also do the same for the center and for the other dart. So that is what I did, and here is the result. I have stitched it down on both sides. Note that there is a part to stitch on the Ridgeline so that your thread does not keep cutting. So here I'm just placing the lacing bar. Yes, this is where the lacing will be for snatching the waist, and I ensured I placed it from under the bust, or at most 1/2 inch above the under bust. It's fine, okay, but under the bust is perfect because our intention is to snatch the waist and not the bust. So right now I'll pin it down like so, and I'll go ahead and stitch it down. Here I've stitched it down. Note that I stitched down only on the lining. The fabric is on its own. So here is the back panel. You can see that the lining is separate and the fabric is separate as well. So I'm going to place it like this and join it by the side. If you like, you can put boning on that dart at the back if you like, but my client laid emphasis on this dress being soft to the skin and yet snatched. So because of that, I did not bother putting any ridgeline at the back. I did not also put it on the lacing bar, but if you prefer that, you can apply some bonings on your lacing bar. Maybe in subsequent tutorials I will show you how this can be done. So right here is what I have. I've joined the sides together and also the zipper line. This is what I have. You can see how beautiful it's looking already. I've not hemmed the down parts, but this dress is already gorgeous. I've stitched the zipper line from under the hip till where the slit for the back is starting. Here I'll put the zipper in between the fabric and the lining. You can see the lacing bar. We are going to lace it up and then zip up afterwards. So this is what we have. You can see how gorgeous the gown is looking already, and you can see how I followed all my sewing allowance and the rest. So we'll just go ahead and continue with the rest of the pattern. I've stitched in the zipper here. The zipper is between the lining and the fabric, and the lacing bar is inside like this. You can see how beautiful this is looking already. Hope you will try it out and also tag me to your results. Guys, do not forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell to be the first to be notified when I upload my videos. You will not regret joining this family, I can assure you that. So this is what I have. I had to go ahead and hem the slit with the hemming gum. This is what the inside looks like, and here we are going ahead for the sleeve. I used the basic sleeve to draw out where I want for the sleeve. I did not get to the end of the sleeve. I just gave about 2.5 inches from the end of this curved part that I just marked out. Yeah, so I measured 5.5 here. Feel free to measure the length you want, and I connected it like an arc, like this, to the cap. Now I marked the cap to be certain of the upper part, because you can agree with me that this hem of the sleeve is looking like the cap already, so that is why I marked the cap. Now I'm going to draw the slash lines. The sleeve is a sort of circle sleeve. It's a circle sleeve actually, but not a full circle. So I slash through the slash lines. You can see the joinings on the marks because the fabric was not enough. Okay, so I had to fold it like this, like a triangle, like you want to make a flare, of course, and then spread the sleeve on it. Spread the sleeve on it and pin as you spread. You can see how I'm spreading it, not so much, because I have to also make do with the fabric I have. Feel free to spread it more if you want the flare sleeve to be fuller than this, please. So here I'm removing the pins and of course the pattern, and I'm just throwing the hem parts of the sleeve so that everything will look neat and nice. So this is what I have. I'll go ahead and cut the lining for the sleeve. I've cut the lining for the sleeve, and this is what I have. I'll just go ahead and apply interfacing just to the lining and join it together. I've applied paper gum to the lining and it's a bit thick, and also hasty to the fabric parts, and this is what I got. I'll just go ahead and stitch this together and notch and also top stitch. So this is what I have. I will notch it and also notch this one. Be careful while notching so that the notch doesn't get to the seam line. So here I'm trimming excess because I don't want bulk round that circle. That is just it. I don't want bulk there. If you prefer to leave it, it's just a ½ inch seam allowance. You can still leave it. I'm just reducing it to about 1/4 inch before I then top stitch. I pushed the excess 1/4 inch to the lining part and top stitched. And here is the result. You can see how beautiful it's laying, and then I ironed it. Here I'm placing my fringe, the fringe for the sleeve, how I want it. Apply your fringe how you want it and stitch it down. I stitched the fringe down twice on the two sides of that base of the fringe. Okay, so I've stitched it down and this is what it's looking like. I'll just go ahead and attach this to the armhole. We are almost coming to the end of this beautiful dressmaking, and I hope you're going to try it out, and of course tag me on my Instagram handle to your results. I'll be glad to see it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This is the outcome and this is how the lacing bar will be looking inside the gown. You just use your rope or the lace and tie it up as comfortable as you wish and then zip up. I reduced the waistline of this dress while making the pattern. You can see how it's looking. I reduced the waistline, reduce it to how you want, and ensure you lace it up to how much you reduced before you zip up so that the zip can zip up. Because if you don't do it as much as you have reduced, it will not allow the zip to zip up. It will look as if it is tight on you. But then I reduced this by about 3 inches from my client's waist and it worked perfectly. This is the end result. Hope you're gonna try this. Thanks for watching, guys, and also always supporting my channel. Do well to subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Love you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.